A new guy joins, and he sees you moving around, you breathing, because you're very much vocal about your breathing. He sees you, he likes the way you're moving or your helpful nature. What advice would you give him?
Be regular, really. To be consistent, it matters more than anything else. Like even with it's good to develop a practice. One thing I'm really grateful for my teacher for, and I had a very difficult relationship to my first martial arts teacher. But one thing I took from him that I'm forever grateful for is this culture of personal practice. That it's a space that I have that discipline, but it's not something I have to force myself to do, and I enjoy doing it. It's like a huge anchor in my life, like during lockdown and all of those times. So I would say to be consistent, even if you do 5 or 10 minutes, if you do that every day, that goes much further than if you kill yourself 1 week and then you don't want to do it and you stop, And it depends how deep you want to go with all of this. Ultimately it's really about connecting with yourself and understanding yourself better and how you are with people and all of that stuff. So it depends how serious or, how deep you want to go, how shallow you are with it.
Hello beautiful people, back to KC Manthan, our very first Jiu-Jitsu vacation in Uttarakhand. We have Taru here, aka Delhi Sultanate, right? A musician, a writer, lifelong martial artist, into scuba diving.
Okay.
Fitness, super disciplined, hungry to learn every time. How did you get into Jiu-Jitsu?
How did I get into Jiu-Jitsu? I'm trying to recall where I actually first heard about it. I think early UFC, like UFC 1 around that time, that I first heard about it. And I first got my first taste of Jiu-Jitsu maybe 2005 when I was living in London. I was studying there. And there was a group of 4 people who were trying to learn, and the person who was teaching us was a blue belt who charged £5 per class. And we were meeting in the SOAS, School of Oriental and African Studies, where I was studying. We were meeting in the basement there once or twice a week. So that was my first taste of Jiu-Jitsu.
How is your Jiu-Jitsu journey been so far?
Life-wise, you mean?
Life-wise.
Well, then there was a long gap because I came back to India and there was no Jiu-Jitsu here whatsoever, and I was learning martial arts with my sensei at the time, which was more weapons focused, like Japanese sword and staff and striking. And he was a 5th dan in judo. So I was hungry, I wanted him to teach me more ground fighting. But somehow it never quite happened, And then I started touring and moving around a lot. Right. So it was something for years and years I always was hungry for it, but never got a chance,
Are we talking about Sensei Rashid?
We are talking about Sensei Rashid Ansari, yeah.
You tried linking up. We are still in touch with Sensei, but somehow the timings are not matching well. Because he comes nearby to the studio only for classes during weekdays, or wo wale slots वैसे booked हैं. But we are trying to make things happen. Also, Professor Osman Ansari.
Yes, right? Champ we call him. Yeah.
So one day he was there at the studio. I think 2022 was the first time, or maybe 23. And then we posted a photo in the group, and then immediately you texted a personal message. Oh, Osman is there.
Champ, I know, because I knew him. I stayed with him in New York, and we took me to his place where he trained striking. At that time, he wasn't doing any jiu-jitsu. It wasn't on the cards at all. And then somehow we lost touch. And then I hear he's a black belt, like visiting my dojo, the Knots and Collars dojo.
Now he's a permanent member.
Yeah.
He'll visit, because he's a family here in Delhi.
Yeah.
So he's here at least twice a year. But kabhi bhi, kaise bhi karke, he'll just text, I'm in India. Can I have a gi arranged for tomorrow's session? Let's go.
I'm very fond of him. And we both trained with Rashid Sensei.
Right. So as a musician, has Jiu-Jitsu helped you, or music helped you in Jiu-Jitsu?
It's a feedback loop. I mean, all of these things are kind of a laboratory where you encounter yourself, and you encounter both your strengths and weaknesses in both of them. So in music, when it comes to performing, you want so much to be present, to be confident, to be in flow, and you battle with your insecurities and with effort, or even feelings of like, I'm not good enough, And that's there in jiu-jitsu too. I notice it in me a lot. And so those are kind of demons I grapple with both in music and in jiu-jitsu, to get to a place of self-acceptance and just enjoying the process, like letting go of trying so hard to get to a place.
Right.
And then the more you come to that place, the freer you are actually, and the more flowy both music and jiu-jitsu is. So it's a kind of feedback loop for me. I mean,
I've heard that you're performing somewhere nearby right after the retreat.
Yeah, well, except it's not nearby. It's like it's the other end of Uttarakhand. When I first heard like, oh, the retreat is happening in Doon, I thought like, oh, amazing. I'll do this and then drive 3 hours to my like festival site.
But glad that you actually made it, because itna zyada traveling.
I would have got 4 more if I hadn't come.
But glad that you're here, because there was so much learning and you're moving so well. You're able to connect things, and then somewhat of an aspect of jiu-jitsu जो आप चाह रहे थे, in a way, for example repetitions, energy base, for example touch base or grips, जैसे हम लोग work कर रहे थे, head, arm position, body position, something that you are into. Right, because you do a lot of body movement workshops. One of the workshops that you were mentioning, wherein you are the only guy there.
Feldenkrais. Yeah.
What's that?
Feldenkrais is a kind of internal method that works with the neuromuscular system. And it's a very soft method. Like you find that theater people and dancers use it, and therapists use it. And I was the only male in the entire course. But what people do not know is that the person who invented Feldenkrais was one of the first non-Japanese to get a black belt in judo back in the days. I mean, we talk about 1940s or something, very early. And in 1952, he wrote a book on ground fighting. And this is, I believe, before the rule changes that kind of eliminated a lot of the ground movements from judo. So people don't know. It's such a soft and subtle method, but they don't know he comes from a fighting background originally. And I find that as I'm getting older, you can't just work outside in, in terms of going hard all the time. If you want to move well and not get injured, this kind of inside-out internal training, I feel, is really important,
So as a musician, because you're not sure about your schedule in terms of where you're performing next and when is that date and for how long that would be. So kind of unpredictable. It's not a fixed schedule, but unpredictable. You could be performing multiple shows within a week.
Yeah.
How do you manage your training then?
I find it tough. I mean, honestly, I'd love to just... No, I wouldn't want to retire. I do love music. But sometimes I train more than I do music, and my family jokes is like, this is actually your main thing, more than music. But I try, wherever I go, I try and find local, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym. And thankfully, it's a really nice community. Usually people are really open for outsiders to come in and cross-train with them. So wherever I go, I look for people to train with. And if I can't do that, then I do my ground movements and solo drills, or I travel with this big van for my music shows. So I usually pack like a kettlebell or a sandbag or something into that and try to stay in touch. Or I even sometimes try to just do mental training, that you imagine, like visualize stuff or try to remember techniques or go over them in your mind.
What's your daily schedule like when you're performing and when you're not performing? When you're performing, you'll not be able to attend a session.
Yeah.
And then the day that you're not performing, what's your schedule like?
When I'm not performing, I have a pretty good routine. Like I'll wake up early in the morning. No, I actually don't wake up that early. But I do something called morning pages, So first thing you do in the morning when you wake up, I write like 2-3 pages, just stream of consciousness. It could be rubbish. It's just kind of to get into a flow. And I found it helps with creativity.
I noticed that when we were traveling together in the travel, you were taking a nap.
Yeah.
The moment that you woke up, you got your diary out and a pen out and you were writing. Was that?
It helps me to kind of just... It's not necessarily... Yeah, it just helps me. It's like a muscle. It's like when you're training and you're trying to keep your body supple. It's like this with mind and articulating and words also, to just keep that muscle exercised. And find freedom, because morning pages, there's no pressure. It doesn't have to be good. You can write rubbish,
Right.
So I do that. Then I'm trying to now get more organized with my training, but I try and do a thing where I wake up in the morning where I'll do like 5 minutes of weapons training. I'll do 5 minutes of ground movement. I'll do 5 minutes of shadow boxing. I'll do 5 minutes of just moving on the ground. You know, so I try to do minimum, this like my daily thing, and then I try to do twice a week working with a heavy sandbag or kettlebell. Trying to keep my conditioning up also so I can keep up with all the young guys in the gym, you know, and then go to class as often as I can.
There has been many instances wherein you very openly say that I need a break the next day, or maybe I need something to remove for this recovery. Otherwise, I won't be able to train every day. This is not sustainable. So how do you manage your recovery? Because training gets intense. Not every time, but sometimes it does get intense, or maybe we're just putting in rounds and we're rolling for 1 hour. Even if we're keeping it mindful, it still is tough for the body. So how are you managing your recovery time?
It's tough. I mean, sometimes I know often my life is like I'm chasing sleep, you know, because I'm also a bad sleeper. But so I mean, it's like I haven't figured this out, you know. I'm still in the process of figuring out, but I've gotten better. I do notice as I get older, I need more time to recover. But I've also gotten smarter with not going so hard or wasting so much energy. And I notice if I overtrain, I get sick, you know. So I may do, even at home, I don't go hard all the time. That's why I do this Feldenkrais stuff also, you know. So you do softer, and it works better also. You don't need to go hard every session. You know, now as I get older, I've learned to work with the body, not against the body, like we sometimes tend to do, that you always do this punishing kind of training, you know.
What is overtraining according to you? I mean, for some it could be, for example, for bodybuilders it could be number of repetitions. They don't want to do more than that, or that body part again and again. So what is overtraining as per you for Jiu-Jitsu?
For me, it's just if I'm too exhausted and I know I don't have that mobility and springiness in the body anymore. And then for me, there's a threshold very quickly where I'll just get sick, you know, if I push too much now.
Now, if you know that your body is not feeling that healthy or springy in that sense, but your mind wants to not miss the training because of your schedule, because you know next 7 days you'll be performing or you'll be traveling, then how do you manage?
I've gotten a bit smarter. Like earlier I would just push myself and go and then feel miserable, but I also think you don't necessarily learn well in that way, you know. So I've learned to sometimes hold back and then not go, you know.
So rolling with big and young guys, young already means like super explosive, super energetic, endless gas tank, and the big guys, again, too much of weight difference. How do you manage that?
Okay, one thing to say also, I started doing zone 2 training because I felt I need more stamina. And that has helped. Like
zone 2 training is heartbeat?
Yeah, heartbeat training. So you just, you know, you do like low intensity but long training, so to get up your cardiovascular system. So I started doing that and I noticed a difference. I can still manage with the explosive young guys. You know, I think I probably still do use a lot of strength, more than I would like, but as you get technically a bit better, See, you want to get smart. Actually, one thing the Feldenkrais also really helps you with is to not have residual unnecessary tension in the body. Like, this is what you really want to get good at, that you use tension only when you need to, and otherwise you're relaxed. And this is a life thing also. Forget Jiu-Jitsu, you know, that use tension wisely when you have to use it. But so you hope to get better with that. And yeah, at the moment, I think strength-wise, stamina-wise, I can still keep up. But as you get older, you'll have to rely more on technique and timing and knowledge and understanding.
So there was a text from you, I think 8 or 10 months ago, wherein you said, would it be okay if I do my own warm-up?
Okay, yeah.
What was that?
I was too tired. I was getting too tired. Like, the other thing also is that I do a lot of my own training.
Right.
And that's important for me. I need it just for my mental well-being, you know. So I do a lot of my mobility stuff and strength and conditioning things. I even do solo drills for Jiu-Jitsu. And I noticed if I do the full like warm-up drills and rolling, I'm dead. I can't do my own practice anymore, you know. So, yeah.
So what's the warm-up right now? So if, for example, if the class is starting, so I don't mind people standing outside or people standing and doing their own thing, because you know what injuries you're going through, what's your recovery thing, and where you need more time. Plus, most of our warm-ups, if they're tough on the body, is because for the people who are not into fitness or who don't do physical activity other than Jiu-Jitsu. So it's kind of our responsibility to get them conditioned to. But looking at your discipline and your fitness factor, I don't think you have to go through that. Other instance be Mushtaq, for example. He is already boxer for most of his life. He's into fitness. He does his kettlebell thing. So I'm sure you guys have your own fitness routine or a warm-up routine before a class. What's that?
Before class, I don't do too much. I loosen up on my joints. I make sure my joints are all mobile. I learned the hard way. It's wise to do. I do some rotations and then I move on the ground. I do some stuff that I feel is like jiu-jitsu conducive movements, So I'll do some forward rolls, some bear crawls, some handstands, kick throughs, stuff like this that just kind of gets the body used to those kind of movement patterns.
But is there any mindset prep as well while you are coming for the class? Or maybe you're traveling somewhere and you don't get to warm up much physically. So are you prepping yourself mindset-wise?
What I try to do, I do it more in my personal practice and I do it more after class. But ideally, I noticed that just meditating even 5 minutes or focusing on your breathing, it helps a lot with the learning process, especially afterwards. Like people neglect this part, but this is like some science also. There's a reason why in traditional martial arts, this is like both before and after class, you do this because it helps your brain to make the neural adaptations,
Your blue belt ceremony. Let's talk about that. Kitna time laga?
Bahut time laga, man. I was getting frustrated because everyone else was like... Part of the reason is that I was traveling a lot and I think I was never there on promotion days.
Yeah.
And then I got a bit defiant. I was like, just make yourself undeniable and I'm going to be a white belt for life,
और कुछ ऐसा instance भी होता wherein I think उस week या एक class पहले you were just saying I think I'll be a white belt for my entire life. कुछ ऐसा हुआ था जैसे आप बता रहे थे on the day of the ceremony.
Right.
What was that? Who was that person you were talking to?
Oh, Mushtaq. I was like, how can I'm just white belt for life now, Yeah.
And it happened.
Then it happened, yeah.
Your jiu-jitsu competition experience. Because I remember you were training and then you were also going through circuits in Goa and you were training aggressively over there. So how was your jiu-jitsu tournament? I think it was your first jiu-jitsu tournament.
First tournament, I hate exams. I hate exams. They stress me the hell out, Even performances, I've been doing this for like 30 years.
Yeah.
And every time I go through some intense like nerves and stuff like that. So it's not my favorite thing in life to do, at all. During the competition, I noticed a few things. I was very tired because I signed up both for the Masters and for the Absolute and for the whatever,
No gi.
No, so I had way too many, by my yardstick, way too many bouts. The other thing is that, I don't know why, my weight is like, I'm actually less than the qualified weight is, but I was not eating carbs enough. And that affected my energy systems too. I thought like, what's wrong with my cardio? But I realized I wasn't eating enough carbs.
Let's talk about the most favorite topic for majority of the population, coffee.
Oh, same. Okay. All right. So because I travel a lot, I always carry my own beans. I carry a grinder. I carry a weighing scale. I carry like a Japanese pour-over thing with me. And I carry peanut butter and dates. So wherever I travel, I know that my breakfast is sorted and I have one constant thing in my life, which is good coffee.
Is this coffee equipment, everything, it's for wherever you travel?
Wherever I travel.
So there's no negotiation?
No negotiation. I've made
cancel
coffee
people because of this?
I don't, no, I'll go home, cancel, like I'm gone. This is my thing, I've made coffee on like a plane, nightclub, I don't care, like I need my thing, like.
Who's your favorite training partner at the studio?
Oh.
Let's just say it.
A serious question?
Yeah.
Let me think.
One that you enjoy the most?
I like training with Angel, because Angel is very technical. He loves it. He doesn't have an ego. It's actually really nice to train and discuss with him. And he was very helpful initially when I was still a white belt and he was a blue belt. He enjoys sharing knowledge and stuff,
He's very helpful.
There's many, man. I like training with many. I also like helping, it goes both ways. I also like when people are receptive and they're curious, they want to know, and you have something that you can offer that you figured out. Like I like that whole exchange of.
Who offers you the toughest battle, wherein you 50% that you come out to be having a good role, victorious. No, I won't say victorious, but a good role in your favor. The other times they are having that good role. What is that edge to edge? Who is that person? Say it, Zushi.
You know, Zushi, everyone always talks about Zushi. I don't roll with him so often because...
You have to start coming Tuesday.
Yeah,
You've
I have
been
to come to the
avoiding
evening. No, man, I'm ready for Zushi. Okay. I'm ready for Zushi.
We don't talk about Amrish.
Amrish, not my favorite person.
Yeah, no worries.
He goes too hard, man. Who would I say? I like rolling with Mushtaq, but I also avoid rolling with him because it it costs a lot of energy, and sometimes we both look at each other, it's like, let's take a
That's a good understanding.
we both
non-verbal.
We catch. No, I'm good.
What's one thing that you would want to change in Jiu-Jitsu overall, wherever you travel? What's one thing for good?
What do you mean, in my own personal practice or in terms of the culture?
No, in overall Jiu-Jitsu culture or schools, the way things are taught or way things are managed, anything. With whatever experience you have so far while traveling.
I mean, I find it hard to find something to complain about because I'm really grateful and people have been very welcoming, and I find that often the more advanced people are, the more humble they are. So that's been a very nice experience, and people hear that you're coming from India where Jiu-Jitsu is beginning, and they're kind of extra helpful and attentive. At least that's been my experience, So very grateful for that. I wouldn't know what to complain about. The only thing is sometimes you get like people who are, I don't know, like people, folks who are cross-training MMA and they're too antsy to win, or you get like bros who have a huge ego and, they're less focused on learning, so that can be a bit annoying, but I guess that's also part of the process, and they get humbled in their own journey.
You also went through a knee surgery.
Yeah.
How was the recovery process, and what was that mindset? Like, it's usually not very easy.
It was tough, and I mean, it came also at a time in my life where I was training too much and I was abusing training. I think, I was using training to compensate for other things in my life that were not working out. And if you're doing that in other ways, if you're drinking or doing this and that, it's obviously maladaptive. But you can do that with training also. And I think I was doing that. It's probably also why I got injured. And I was training with some overzealous guy. Why? Like, I'm in Paris and I go to the gym like 2 hours before the flight or whatever, a couple of hours before I had to leave for the flight. Unnecessarily extra. It also actually comes from a place psychologically of somehow always driving yourself, feeling you're not good enough. You need to, so these are things you also need to learn, to be kind to yourself and be good with yourself. So then I got injured. And it was very hard, but I also embraced the injury because I felt this is here to teach me something. It's taking something away that I'm using as a crutch. So maybe I can develop a more wholesome approach to this, but it was tough as hell. I mean, it took me 1.5 years. You have to learn from scratch to stand, walking, then like 3 hours of physio and I was very disciplined with my physio because I'm like, I want to be able to bounce back and have full mobility, so tough.
But mindset wise, because mostly if somebody goes through such kind of an injury or a surgery, 90% of people would quit. They'll not do that same activity again.
Yeah, but for me that's not the case. For me it's like, okay, this is here to teach me something. And I wanted to come back. There's something else I was going to say. My brain is a bit fried from all the training, so it's not coming to me. No, I actually thought it's a good experience to go through once, actually. I wouldn't want this ever to happen again. But to realize how fragile our bodies are, and so it was an important lesson for me. I wouldn't want it again ever. But for a while I thought, okay, chalo, I'll do mental training, and I was watching videos and stuff. That was tough to keep up for 1.5 years. But then after a while I started doing stuff, like I was doing rings, because I don't need my legs for that. And
how much does social media affect your jiu-jitsu?
I mean, you mean in terms of just my attention and my focus?
Could be just jiu-jitsu specific, could be learning new things, new concept, understanding new combination.
I do it less now than I did before, because I'm realizing now that I can't process that much information. Like it's better to focus on one thing and try and understand that and do that well, and then see where there's a gap. And so I'm figuring out, like, as you train, you're learning, you understand the learning process a little bit better. So I still look up stuff, but I was doing that way more earlier, and I feel now it's more like, it's not about tricks, it's more about actually teaching your body to do certain things without having to think about it.
So once we're done with the retreat, we're almost at the end of the retreat. We are back home, we come back for the class, a new guy joins. and he sees you moving around, you breathing, because you're very much vocal about your breathing. He sees you, he likes the way you're moving or your helpful nature. What advice would you give him?
Depends a little bit on age and depends on what they're looking for, really, and how serious they are about it, you know.
Let's say a youngster, college or just passed out of the college.
To be regular, really. You know, to be consistent. It matters more than anything else. Like even with your, it's good to develop a practice. One thing I'm really grateful for my teacher for, and I had a very difficult relationship to my first martial arts teacher. Very, very difficult. Like I learned a lot, but it was definitely a problematic relationship. But one thing I took from him that I'm forever grateful for is this culture of personal practice.
Right.
That it's a space that I have that discipline, but it's not something I have to force myself to do, you know, and I enjoy doing it. It's like a huge anchor in my life, like during lockdown and all of those times. So I would say to be consistent, even if you do 5 or 10 minutes, if you do that every day, that goes much further than if you kill yourself 1 week and then you don't want to do it and you stop, you know. And it depends how deep you want to go with all of this. You know, ultimately it's really about connecting with yourself and understanding yourself better and how you are with people and all of that stuff. So it depends how serious or, you know, how deep you want to go, how shallow you are with it.
So tomorrow, if you see new Taru joining in, what would you guide him?
Not be so hard on yourself, you know, and just enjoy the process. Not try to always get to a place. Jiu-Jitsu is like you're always a beginner. It's endless. Like the beginning, you know, when you start learning, you quickly realize that in your lifetime you're not going to master all the knowledge, you know.
Taru, you've been so kind and helpful to all of us, not to one person specific, but to all of us. And I hope our Jiu-Jitsu journey together goes very long.
I really love the family. Like this Delhi family is one of the nicest places I've been to, and it's also there are people who've been there for a long time. They've progressed from white to blue to purple. That says something, you know. People stay.
I wish you all the best for your upcoming show.
Man, you too. And you too. You're a great teacher. I love learning from you. It's been really, really nice. Yeah.
I hope we catch up again for this podcast at next month and somewhere.
Next time we'll do the retreat in Kerala.
Yeah, no. Next we are doing it in March or April, so it has to be somewhere cold.
Yeah.
But the December one would definitely be in a thoda warmer place.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Taru.
Most welcome. Thanks.